season produced so many good Adelaide performances. Why was that one a complete contrast?
Yeah, I don't know. We've got to look into that. Clearly, all credit to Richmond. I mean, they played a fantastic game and obviously beat us quite convincingly. And it was a disappointing day for us all around. So we'll have a look. We'll reflect on it, and we'll learn.
Confirmation of your view about contested footy again?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it was quite clear just towards the end of that second quarter and through the third quarter. I think the numbers were, at one stage I was looking at, it was minus 27 or something in the quarter, which is, that's a phenomenal number. And, Richmond outworked us at the contest. They won the contest. They had extra numbers there. And, no surprise the game got played in their half and they were able to score. And from that point, it became a long way back.
You told us yesterday that Adelaide wasn't one-dimensional. Then why couldn't it find something else to deliver in this game?
Yeah, well, that's the trouble. That's why the contest is so important, to be honest. You've got to win your share and get some field position. And when we did win some ball, we weren't able to maintain our field position. And I thought across the day, on the basis of that, you end up being, because you win the ball back in the back half, you end up being on the back foot, and we weren't prepared to be brave with our ball movement, as we have been earlier in the finals. And as I said, that's a credit to Richmond, the pressure they were to put on, and disappointing from our viewpoint because it was a poor performance.
When that pressure issue was brought up yesterday, and you said it was about taking the right options, using the ball, but what did you think of your handball? Did you think?
I thought at times we overused the handball around it, and again, that's the thing. We'll reflect on that, and it's a matter of individual decisions at times about moving the ball forward out of that contest versus trying to over-handball and invite that pressure. And we knew coming in, Richmond were a pressure team, so it wasn't like it was a surprise. As I said, they executed better than we did.
Is there an initial thought as to why you couldn't score, and that's such a low-scoring effort from Adelaide?
Yeah, I need to have a look at it in more detail. I felt early we got sort of forced down the line, which is not like us. Whether that's the pressure of the game or whether that was just we weren't able to get enough open field spread to be able to create options out there. That was sort of the feeling from the box, is that we probably weren't spreading hard enough to give the kicker the option to move the ball into the open space, and we end up going long down the line, which means you're relying on winning contests down the line to get field position. And we didn't execute that at all today. How
do you want the individual players to each reflect on what happened today?
Yeah, well, that's what the conversation we had after the game is. That's important. Now you reflect and go, what did we learn out of this week? It's a long way back from where we'll start a game, because we'll start on 0 points, and that's the disappointing part. And they've shattered the players. They put a lot of energy into the season and walk away with nothing. So they'll reflect, and they'll reflect on their preparation. They'll reflect on the energy they brought to the game. They'll reflect on their own performance, and and we'll challenge guys in that space, and then we'll train and we'll get better. That's the sort of footy club we want to be. We're not sitting here going, woe is us. At the end of it, we came to a grand final. We weren't good enough. We've got to accept that, and we've got to try and do something about it to work our way back into this position again.
Don, you were so good. You were so good this season for most of the season.
Yep.
Do you have faith that this team can deliver?
Complete. I sit here proud of my team and what they've achieved, and today was disappointing, and that's what happens in sport. We had a bad day. We really did. I mean, if I look at it, all year I've been talking to you guys about our team and our even contribution, and today we didn't get it, and that's disappointing, because it's when the game, the big games are on. You've got to bring your best, and we didn't bring our best today. And that's not taking nothing away from Richmond. I thought they were fantastic. I just felt like today we would individually, and I'm saying players and coaches, we would say we could have been better. Clearly, we could have been better.
Do you have a sense that you've chose the worst possible day to have your worst possible day of the season?
Yeah, I don't want to take away from Richmond. I thought Richmond played very, very well. But I think if you asked our players individually, there'd be some of them that would have felt like they produced one of their poorer performers on what is obviously a big day.
Don, on your point about the coaches, what were you working with in terms? What were your frustrations in what you wanted to achieve?
I think it's generic. I mean, I'll sit back now and reflect on the entirety of the week, in terms of from what we did from the start, how we trained, the focus for drills, all those sorts of things. That's natural. That's all part of the what'll be the process I'll go through and the coaches will go through to make sure that because we're charged with the responsibility to give our players the best chance to play as well as they can to win games of footy. And we're in it together. Players and coaches, we're all part of the same equation, and that's to try and get ourselves. We don't win as one, and we win as one and we lose as one. And today we lost, and I'm certainly not going to sit here and go it was the players. That's not how we operate.
But on match day, did you feel there was less for you to work with?
Look, when the numbers are that far against you in the contest, it's very hard. One of the things that's very hard from a coaching viewpoint is to provide effort. the players are responsible for effort, and that's we try and encourage that. We try and obviously demand that. But when numbers in the contest are that far down, we try to do some structural things. But you're trying to put a patch on what's a fair wound, and when you're talking minus 25 in the third quarter, it's which is why we value it so highly as a stat.
John, how about your
And to be honest, a stat that we've been very good at all year, and that's probably the most disappointing part. It was an area of our game which we felt coming in we were strong, and we didn't deliver today.
How do you view your forward line today?
Yeah, look, I think they'd be a group that would sit down and reflect and go, probably not their best day.
John, do you think the venue was a factor?
No, venue's not a factor. We know that the grand final's going to play at the MCG. We get the opportunity to play here. We've played here 3 times this year. I don't think the ground plays a role in that. We played poorly.
Did you
Did you
ask
have
the
any
player?
sense at quarter time, Don, that it was coming because you're in front then?
No, it's probably towards the end of the second quarter, to be honest. We sort of felt, they kicked those 2 goals, and it was probably how they kicked the goals, which was sort of a bit reflective of how the game was rolling. And half-time probably came at a good time. We were 10 points down, but we tried to sort of reset at half-time and get ourselves back and going. And then the third quarter, they obviously took the momentum. They gathered a little bit in the end of the second quarter and came out and clearly dominated the third quarter.
John, when you talk about effort of players, does that mean that they froze on the biggest moment that they had to deliver that effort?
No, I don't think it's not. That's not the case. I think it's just that and let's be fair to Richmond. Richmond brought a huge effort, and they've got a game plan and a style which is based around pressure on the ball and numbers, and they brought that effort. They brought that effort and they brought that pressure, and we weren't able to match that.
Was it that pressure? Your ball movement that's been a feature just wasn't there today, especially when the rain came. It seemed to change. But was it their pressure, or was it your unwillingness to be brave? And you mentioned the spread and provide opportunities.
Probably a combination of both, I would have thought. Yeah, looking at it, I would have thought at times I thought at the start of the game last week, for instance, against Geelong, we were prepared to really, take some of those kicks on and hit them. And today we just missed them, or we didn't pull some ones that we probably would have normally taken. And that's again will be part of the reflection as to whether or not we're just off in all the phases. At which point you end up getting the result you get.
So there's the seed of doubt from a contested ball being beaten up spread to other aspects of what you do well, or
potentially. I think what happens is you end up trying to counter-attack off your back half more often than you need to. And clearly field position, I think the inside 50s would reflect that field position went to Richmond today, and that means it's always going to be hard the longer the game goes to transition the ball from your back half, just because of the components of fatigue and generally if the scoreboard's against you, you've got an opposition that's up and about. So we made it hard on ourselves today, and the contest is the starting phase, and that's why we place such a high priority on it.
John, it's the resilience of the group strong enough to get back and not have one of those years like you saw at West Coast where you can get there and then fall away?
I think so. Yeah, I really do. I think I walk out of a room there where there's players who are they're devastated. They put a lot of energy into that and they walk away with nothing. So that becomes the true test. The true test is whether we're prepared to accept we've got some things we've got to keep working on, and get back to work when we start. I don't know, in 10 weeks' time. But sometimes losses can be a great driver. I've been part of clubs where we've lost grand finals and been a very good team and come back and won after that. But you've got to learn the lessons, and that's why it's important we reflect. And it's too raw right now, but we'll reflect and we'll have those conversations and understand that at the end of what has been a really positive year for the footy club, we put in a poor performance. And to our fans and members, thank you. I mean, a lot of them travelled, they came over. I know they'll be disappointed, but they're a massive part of our footy club, and they provide great inspiration for our players, and it's fantastic. And we'll dust off. We're not going to put our head in the sand here now. We'll dust off and we'll get ready to go again and come back next year, knowing that it's a long road back to get to where we are here today. And that's ultimately the challenge you have in footy.
Don, after getting so close, what areas of your list are you hoping to improve during the trade period?
It's pretty early to say that, to be honest. I'm just sitting here after the grand final. I mean, we'll look at that in the next week or two, and with trade starting up. It's a bit fresh, to be honest.
Were there any injuries?
Any injuries today? Not that I know. I think
Greenwood had a cold calf.
Yeah. Okay.
You seem to have, close to half time, it seemed to be maybe a bit of a fact. He had a few blokes come to the bench a bit banged up. I think Luke Brown, maybe a knee.
Yeah, he got a bit of
Kelly,
a jar on the
somewhat
knee, I
mixed.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think there was nothing more than you'd expect in a grand final game. There wasn't, certainly at half time, there wasn't any, I spoke to the docs at half time and they said, no, there's a couple of bumps and bruises, but other than that, we're fine.
How quickly we asked.
The comp often follows the premiers and the way they play.
Yeah.
They had obviously a non-traditional forward line set up. You had two big boppers. Does it force a rethink? Was it just a bad day? Was it your entries, or is that the way of the future?
Yeah, I don't know. That's something we'll assess as a coaching group. I mean, it's often the way, isn't it? You sort of have trends that develop and evolve and things. Our systems work pretty well throughout the year.
Yeah.
So, and again, with the talent we had ahead of the ball today, and, we've got to give them enough opportunities and we've got to use the ball to create those opportunities probably better. But, to Richmond's credit, they've come up with something different. It's worked for them. They've won the flag, and I'm sure other teams will look at components of their game. So whether it's their forward setup or whether it's their ability to maintain pressure through the middle of the ground and forward as well. But that's the beauty of the game. It's always changing, and we sit here now going, well, there's a style that's got us to this point. Is that going to sustain us next year? I don't know. All I know as a coaching group, we need to ask those questions and we need to follow our hunch around our list in terms of what we think is the best way for them to play the best footy and add to the way we play. Otherwise, we stand still, others will go past us. I think there's
style of footy like
I think there's components. If you look at the Bulldogs last year, I would have thought they played in a very similar style from numbers around the ball and pressure on it. And look, to their credit, they carried it out really well.
So is there any time frame on the Jake Lever contract situation?
No, I don't know.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks also for your support this year in the coverage.